I'm Art Weirs. I serve on the core leadership team of the region of the Great Lakes in the Reformed Church, and I welcome you to this Whiteboard Wednesday. I want to share something with you that I found from Michael Frost that is very helpful in regards to missional habits. And I've kind of taken liberty to change it a little bit, but I'm grateful for what he put out there for me to understand as he shared some things through Exponential. What he really is talking about is how can healthy habits help us in growing healthy churches? And he has an acrostic that has been meaningful to me and I trust could be helpful to you. It's BELLS. The B stands for bless. Simply, will I take time in a given time period, say 1 week, to intentionally bless 3 people, one of whom has no connection to a church? One of the things I find over and over again in my own life, but especially in the life of longtime members in our churches, is there's very little, if any, connection with people outside the church. I can get intentional about that if I'll work to bless them. I think it's a great habit to develop, and it needs to be a habit. It needs to be something I do every week, not once in a great while. It's something I have to be intentional about. The second one he says is eat. Well, we all eat. We take time to eat. Well, I take time to eat with 3 different people every week, one of whom has no connection to the church whatsoever. If I do that, I'll find myself in fellowship with people in this culture. I'll learn more about them, and I'll find ways to reach out to them. And it's a simple thing to do, but I've got to be intentional about it. It has to be a habit. It has to be something I do all the time. The third one is listen. Will I set 1 period of time every week, the habit of listening for the Holy Spirit to direct me in this? Will I just listen? My life is pretty busy. It can fill up without any space for listening. I think that's true for a lot of people. Will I develop a habit of listening for God's voice, listening for His direction in terms of how will I help the church grow? What is my part? The next one is L, learn. Will I pay particular attention once a week to learn something specific from Christ's example? In other words, spend time in the gospel accounts. Look at how Jesus did ministry. How did He interact with people? Will I spend time at least once a week focusing on just that, not 1,000 other things, and make that a habit so I learn to be Christ-like in my approach to people? That will be a healthy habit. The last one is sent. And what Michael Frost is really talking about in that one is, will I document, will I journal weekly as I'm going out, how am I creating awareness of God's reign through Christ in this world? How am I building awareness for that? Now, I'm really terrible at journaling, and so that is one of the more difficult habits for me to develop. What I have found, however, though, is I can develop some accountability with a partner or 2 or 3 and meet on a regular basis to give a verbal report of what's really happening here for me. I submit to you that if we could get 10% of our people in our church to develop these healthy habits, it will start a growth pattern in the church that hasn't been there before.